So I saw this somewhere. So some people are saying that proposed endeavor is the most important thing for NIW. Others are saying all you have to do is satisfy the three prongs. So which view is correct or
Yeah.
not?
So everything in context, right? When presenting a case, you're never just meeting a checklist. The government, to some degree, may apply a checklist kind of analysis, but they're supposed to look at the cases holistically, and I do think most officers do look at the cases holistically, where they're at least just trying to understand, okay, what's the story here? Broad strokes, what benefit is this person bringing to the US? How does this case make sense in the context of the national interest waiver? So you have the three-pronged Danisar test, and then you have this thing called proposed endeavor. The proposed endeavor is not a prong of the test, but all the prongs of the test are analyzing the proposed endeavor. So it's very, very important to state what that proposed endeavor is first, outright, and then use the framework to show how that proposed endeavor benefits the US throughout these different ways. So I would say proposed endeavor is the core of the case, and that's why it's fair to say it's the most important part. Ultimately, this is your proposal to the government. It's your statement of what you are going to do. And so the government needs that in order to make an approval. But then you also need to show how that proposed endeavor fits into the framework. And so you do have to prove all three prongs of DANISAR. It's not like proving the prongs are less important. I would say they are also extremely important. They're actually necessary. You have to do it. But everything works together. And this is how you tell a cohesive story to USCIS. Under the three prongs of DANISAR, you have to show how your proposed endeavor is of substantial merit and national importance. Then you have to show how you are well positioned to advance your proposed endeavor. And then you have to show how, in light of your proposed endeavor, the US has an interest in admitting you on your own merits rather than going through that whole process of PERM that is set up to protect US workers. So it's essentially an argument on why the US should admit you without protecting US workers, which is a high bar when you think about it. NIW has opened up a lot, but you still do need to make that argument that the US government will consider to be a high bar because the government is agreeing not to protect US workers because your work is so important. So think about it in that light and in that way. And I think everything works together. These aren't necessarily competing priorities or things of competing importance.